All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at a possible blueprint for where humanity is headed. And, it's a vision that suggests our biggest adventures, they might not be out there in space, but actually right here inside our own heads. So let's get started.
So let's just start with this question. What if our future is way, way bigger than we think? I mean, what if the next step for us isn't just, slightly better gadgets, but a total change in what being human even means?
The ideas we're talking about today come from something called the Galactic Federation Compendium. Now, don't think of this as some kind of prophecy. It's more like a massive brainstorm, a what-if scenario. It's a collection of ideas about what we could become if we just went all in on pushing the limits of our tech and, our own minds.
And right off the bat, this roadmap says something pretty profound. Before we even think about heading out to the stars, the very first place we have to explore is right here inside ourselves. They call this the inner revolution.
So this whole inner journey, it's really built on three big ideas. First, it's about expanding our consciousness, seeing beyond just what our five senses tell us. Second, it's about totally flipping our approach to healing, making it an inside job. And third, and this is a big one, it's about learning how to literally rewrite the subconscious programming that's running our lives on autopilot.
Okay, so how on earth do you expand consciousness? Well, picture this, VR and AR that aren't for gaming. Instead, they're tools for meditation, for getting this incredible sense of inner clarity, or for supercharging your own intuition. It's about using tech to find ourselves.
And then things get even wilder with this idea of quantum-enhanced learning. I know, it sounds super sci-fi, right? But just think about it like this. Instead of reading about something in a book, you could jump into a simulation and actually experience it. Imagine what it would be like to truly understand someone else's perspective because you've kind of lived it for a second. That's the idea here. Learning by doing on a whole new level.
All right, pillar number 2, healing. Right now, our whole medical system is pretty reactive, isn't it? We wait for something to break, then we try to fix the symptom. Well, this future idea just flips that on its head. It's all about getting back to balance before you even get sick. It's about technology and our own biology working together as a team for total wellness.
Just imagine, you've got these tiny little nanobots in your system just keeping your cells in perfect shape. And at the same time, you've got an AI coach that helps you understand your own emotions with total clarity. It would be like having your own personal 24/7 wellness team living right inside you, making sure you're always at your best, physically and mentally. And that brings us to the last pillar, rewriting your reality. Now, this isn't some kind of magic trick. It's laid out as a real process. So you'd put on a VR headset and you could literally walk through a virtual world that represents one of your old limiting beliefs. An AI guide could then show you the subconscious patterns you never even knew were there. And then, right there in the simulation, you could start building new, better pathways in your mind. It's a step-by-step way to basically become the architect of your own thinking. Okay, so once we've got that foundation, that inner mastery, the blueprint says we're finally ready. We're ready to look up and out. After exploring inner space, it's time to take on outer space. This is the outer expansion. And listen, the ideas here are they're completely mind-bending. We're not just talking about finding life on other planets. We're talking about setting up the foundation for actual conversations with other species, maybe even with beings from other dimensions. Seriously.
So you're probably asking, how would that even be possible? Well, one of the big theories is something called quantum-based communication. Forget waiting for signals to travel at the speed of light. This is about instant data transfer, no matter the distance. It's like a cosmic internet with zero lag time, where you could maybe even send thoughts directly. But before we just shouting out into the universe, it's probably a good idea to, get a map of the neighborhood first. We got to figure out where we fit into this whole cosmic picture.
And making that map isn't a one-person job. You've got exoplanetary research acting as our scout, finding new potential homes. Then you've got astrobiology as our official translator, trying to figure out what life even looks like out there. And maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, interstellar ethics. That's our diplomatic team, making sure that if and when we meet someone, we don't mess it up. We do it peacefully and with some wisdom.
And let's be clear, this isn't about some cosmic road trip. The whole point, the big vision here, is for humanity to actually live out there, to become a true multiplanetary species with real, thriving homes way beyond Earth. So, how do we make that happen? Well, it comes down to a few really big things. As you can see here, the biggest piece of the pie is figuring out self-sustaining habitats. And of course, we need some serious upgrades in how we travel. Think warp drive kind of stuff. But look at that last piece. Our own psychological health is right up there, just as important as the hardware. And that's a huge reminder, right? You can't build a healthy civilization out in space if the one you're bringing with you is broken. And that all leads us here, to the final part of this blueprint. And honestly, this might be the most important part of all. This is where everything we've talked about, the inner journey and the outer journey, finally click together. This is humanity's next chapter. So if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this idea right here. The core message is that how far we can reach out into the universe depends entirely on how deep we're willing to go inside ourselves. The key to living among the stars is actually found by understanding the universe within our own minds. See, our internal growth, getting a handle on our own consciousness, on our own healing, it isn't just step one. It's the whole foundation. It's the launch pad. If that foundation isn't solid, any attempt to expand outward is just going to crumble. They're not separate journeys. They're two parts of the same whole. So there you have it. That's the blueprint. It's a journey that starts with finding clarity inside ourselves and ends with us becoming a peaceful member of a whole galactic neighborhood. It's a pretty incredible vision of what's possible, isn't it? And that just leaves us with one last big question to think about. If a future like this is even a tiny bit possible, if there's any truth to this blueprint, what's the first step? What's one small thing that you and I can do starting today to help build that incredible tomorrow?